What up, what up, what up? Welcome to Live Game Season 1, Episode 22. The Average Man's Perspective on Football. I'm your co-host, Marcus. Joining me on the panel tonight is Herman.
Hey.
Mark.
Good evening.
And Brian.
Welcome to the show.
Before we get started, I want to encourage everyone to jump on over to sportsintel.net for some great commentary and opinion on everything sports related. Once again, that's sportsintel.net. I also want to encourage you to like the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel, hit the little bell icon so you get notified whenever we go live. And what's the Twitter handle, Brian?
At the Live Game 3.
At the Live Game 3. Follow us on Twitter, follow us on Facebook. Help us get these views up, like these videos, so we can expand and get big. So it was a big weekend. Had the the divisional round. A lot of good games. One blowout at least.
What? All of them were blowouts except for one.
Oh, really?
There was only one
Pretty
good
much.
Oh, well, my bad. All of them blowouts except for one. So let's get started. What do we got, Mark?
Hey, another fantastic week of postseason play.
I don't know about fantastic.
It was fantastic.
It was great. It was the greatest weekend so far.
We had some games that
I've seen better.
sound like some salty fans here.
Some salt in the air.
Wait, whose teams were playing this weekend again?
Amen.
Oh, okay.
Amen.
Back to Mark.
Hey, Marcus, who teams are joining us on the couch?
Quite a few, at least
Okay,
four.
all right.
Joining.
Let's keep it moving, Jay. First game we have from last week is the Indianapolis Colts and the Kansas City Chiefs. Brian, we start off with you. Who'd you have?
So in this pick of one, I did pick the Chiefs. I did pick this one correctly. Chiefs won 31-13. Wasn't really much of a game. I mean, Kansas City started the game on a roll, continued on a roll. The Colts really didn't have any answers for Mahomes. He was out there slinging it. They finally got that monkey off their back, about losing in the playoffs in the first round, being the number one contender. But the Chiefs are definitely a legitimate contender for the championship. They did their thing. Good job for them.
All right, I chose the Kansas City Chiefs. I think they just harassed Luck all through the game. Poor Luck. He looked like he didn't have an offensive line again. The other thing that was a non-factor was Marlon Mack, who only rushed for like 46 yards. They shut that run of the game down. But Kansas City jumped out on early, and when Kansas City get an early lead on you, man, it's hard to really fight back, come back. It changes the whole mindset once they can get that defense ears pinned back and they just come after you. So I took the Chiefs. I won that one. Herman, who you had?
Yeah, I had the Chiefs too. It was disappointing to see the Colts offense just wasn't. It was either their offense just didn't show up or Kansas City actually surprised everybody and their defense played good this week. That home advantage, it means everything in the playoffs. It really does. It's a reason why, teams fight for that number one seed. And I think you saw it right there because going into that game, I'm sure we all thought that the Colts would be able to score a lot more than 13 points. But that Kansas City defense showed up. And, of course, that the Chiefs offense was going to be there. We knew that was going to be there. So, Mahomes he was 27 for 41, 278 yards. Interesting. He had no passing touchdowns and no interceptions, but he had one rushing touchdown. So it all came on the ground for them, actually. But yeah, I did pick the Chiefs to win now.
All right, Marcus rounded out on this game. Who did you have, Marcus?
Well, of course, I picked the Chiefs, but I wasn't expecting to blow out the game. I just want to give a big hand to Kansas City defense. They finally showed up out of nowhere, just out of the blue. just came through because I've been saying all year that my biggest worry about Kansas City was the defense, and they decided. I don't know what they had for the team lunch before that game, but they need to eat that every week. And as far as in these running game, Marlon Mack, he actually actually averaged 5.1 yards a carry, but the problem is he only had 9 carries. And so I guess when KC went ahead like that, they just had to abandon that running game, and it was just all downhill from there.
I think he got a little banged up in the fourth quarter too, so he didn't finish the game also.
Yeah, but as far as his rushing yards, Indianapolis only had 87 total compared to Kansas City's 180. So Kansas City did it on the ground. this week, which is what you have to do in playoff times, be able to run the ball, and they definitely ran it. It wasn't all just Mahomes; it was everybody.
And it's funny too because last week when we were talking on the show, Marcus was talking about how the Colts were like the hottest team in the AFC. They were like the one team that you didn't really want to play because they had been playing so well. But the Chiefs came really prepared against them to shut that offense down.
I'm a jinx when I say that because every time I say it about a team, they lose.
You need to talk about how hot the Patriots are this week.
Right. We got another divisional game that took place same day with the Dallas Cowboys travel up to L.A. to take on the Rams. Marcus, I'll let you start us off with it. Marcus, go ahead.
Well, I just want to say, it was a great game. Very close. 30-22. Wasn't expecting that run game that the Rams did,
Can't hear you over that stupid music.
I wasn't expecting that run game too. The other people heard of C.J. Anderson. I didn't really know who he was, but I was like,
Whoa! You didn't know when he played for Denver when they won the Super Bowl?
Yeah, C.J. was.
Is that where he's from?
Yeah,
That's it.
Plus 50 pounds.
Yeah,
because he wasn't that big in Denver.
No, he's a bowling ball of knives.
They just picked him up.
Yeah,
like 3 weeks.
Like 3 weeks ago.
He was with somebody else earlier this season too, and they let him go.
Yeah, they let him. I don't think he. Yeah, so they had 273 rushing yards, and I definitely wasn't expecting that, especially from Dallas's defense. But once again, playoff time, you say you got to run that ball, and they did what the Chiefs did. They managed to run that ball, and if you could do that and still have a good passing offense, then you're gonna win the game. I think this is probably the most surprising game of the weekend. When it's definitely when I expect the Rams to win. I picked the Rams, of course, but I wasn't expecting that.
Yeah. And on this particular game, I took the Rams also. Ezekiel didn't rush for over 100 yards. He was 20 attempts for 47 yards, 1 touchdown. But the Rams call that running attack the head bangers, and man, were they banging heads then, boy. They surprised me with that running game. I thought that for them to come out and Dallas's defense, as far as stopping the rush, was like the top in the NFL. But
number 3, I think.
But they crushed that. So hats goes off to them. The only question I have in that game is, and you guys can answer it for me, I guess. How come you went for it on the 4th down? You were up where you were down by 8 points. If you kicked the field goal, you'd be down by 5. But that momentum would have still carried you.
Hey, Herman, can you put your head up? Can you lean up?
Oh, sorry.
I couldn't understand going forward for that last 4th and goal, but nevertheless, I took the Rams. I'll let you guys see what you want to say about that one.
One thing I want to say though is it was obvious that Rams had shut down the running game, but it seemed like the Cowboys could pass on them at will. Why did they not pass? Well, I thought they should have kept passing because it seemed like Marcus Peters was not effective at all.
Yeah.
And it just seemed like the Dallas could pass whenever they wanted to pass. Well, I just don't see why they didn't pass more, just keep passing.
Well, because of 2 words. Offensive coordinator.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
If it was that obvious to me, it should have been obvious to him.
Exactly.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things you would think like that. But
go ahead, Mr. Brian. You can tell us what you think about this. Who you chose the game?
I blocked this game out of my memory, so I went and played it on Madden, and the Cowboys won.
What was the score?
You played against the computer on rookie. That's what you did.
No, the Rams did what I did not anticipate. Like you guys were saying, both of the Rams running backs rushed for over 100 yards in that game. But C.J. Anderson, I believe, was the kicking off point. He was fresh legs. He was running hard, and he was just bowling through the defensive line of the Cowboys, which nobody was expecting. I thought they'd get a little bit of running. I felt like we kind of had Gurley in check. He had the one big run for a touchdown, but I thought Gurley was still kind of tender and working his way in. But you got to give it up to C.J. Anderson. He was the main cog in that offense. They got it going, got that running game, and just ran hard. The Rams, they were scoring on, I think, the first 3 or 4 drives of the game.
Yeah, the first 4.
Was it every drive?
The first at least 4.
At least the first 4. I know they kicked 2 field goals, but they were moving the ball at will. And then you got to give credit to the coach who decided to go for it on 4th down instead of kicking the field goal.
Yeah.
To try to put that game out of reach completely, which he ended up doing. So we were out coached, we were out muscled. They did what they had to do. They deserve to be where they're at, and congrats to them, and good luck next week.
Why did they take Van Der Esch out of the game? I didn't
That was another.
There was a lot of things in that game that there was a lot of stupid things or a few stupid things that the coaching staff decided to do for the Cowboys that I didn't quite understand either.
Go ahead, Herman. Who did you take?
Of course, I took the Cowboys, and like you said, the biggest key was the Rams. Sean McVay decided, you know what? Let's not get pretty. I'm going to do what Dallas has been doing to people the last 5 weeks when they went on that run. I'm going to run the ball right at them, right down their throat, and see what happens. He could have adjusted later if it didn't work, but it worked.
True.
So he just continued to do it. A lot of the runs, you noticed he had the jet sweep coming. You could see the linebackers didn't know where the hell to go. They didn't know if they should go with the jet sweep. They didn't know where the ball was, and a lot of that played a big role in the big chunked off runs. I mean, C.J. Anderson, like you said, he was like a big bowling ball, and he wasn't touched until he got to the second level a lot of times. So defensively, for some strange reason, this game the coaches decided they want to start rotating in Sean Lee. The dumbest decision you could have made in this game. You hadn't done that previously. Why would you do it in the divisional round of the playoff? So I'm going to say, you know what? Okay, the defense carried them most of the year. The coaches just made a mistake. That's fine. You learn from that and you move on from it. Dak had a pretty good game. He missed a couple throws, things that he's going to have to work on. But there was a little bit of a controversial call in the grass. You don't know what and this was the NFL's explanation. The NFL will never come out and say that
they're wrong.
So the ref comes out and he says, well, his forward progress was stopped. But you didn't call forward progress was stopped.
And I didn't know the quarterback had to have forward progress.
Well, if he's running and he's getting tackled, I guess just like a running back.
Yeah, but he wasn't running.
Exactly.
He was still in the pocket.
So they were like, but you called in the grass. But he said, well, we feel like he couldn't get any further going forward. It was just the lamest excuse in the world.
That makes no sense at all.
It didn't make
Tom
sense.
Brady would be in the grass. He would be because he just stands there in the middle of the pocket and just dances anyway. He's not moving forward, backward, or whatever. Just side to side.
The NFL, they had a problem this year, a bigger overall problem with really bad, blatantly bad calls that they need to address.
Consistent.
Consistent. It was all through the season, not just this game. I'm talking about a lot of games. There was a lot of games that were affected. I mean, stuff like the catch that wasn't a catch because he fumbled, and so nobody picked it up. So we're going to say it's not a catch now. What kind of rule is that?
Right.
That's ridiculous.
The NFL refs are like they're like the girlfriend who never admits she's wrong.
Yeah, that's it right there. Like, nah, I wasn't wrong. What I meant was okay. But I mean, the Rams were the number 2 seed for a reason. I think Dallas actually did pretty good to have. They only lost by 8. Considering how much they dominated.
Yeah,
we were still in the game.
Yeah,
at the very end.
And they had the time of possession was greatly Rams.
Yeah, and Dallas was still in that game. So
I thought it was crucial when you guys held them to the 2 field goals.
Definitely, like to begin the game, that was huge. Yeah, because if those been 2 touchdowns, that game would have been a blowout. But I mean, Dallas did. They lost, and I thought this was actually probably I didn't watch really a whole lot of the Saints Eagles game we're going to talk about later, but. I thought this was one of the most competitive games. I guess maybe the Saints, Cowboys, Rams, and the Saints and Eagles games were the 2 competitive ones of the season.
Out of the
4. So
I just don't. Like I said, I just don't understand why they stopped. It seems like they could pass on Will.
It's the offensive coordinator, man. That's I don't know what.
I don't think that Dallas's offense is meant to put Dak in that type of position.
It's not.
But he was passing at will, though. He's pretty much passing at will. Every time he passed, it was a success almost.
We want to be balanced. We want to run.
We definitely want to be balanced, but at the same time,
you've always said it, Marcus. Dallas wins when what?
Zach eats, but he wasn't eating.
He wasn't eating, so he wasn't going to win.
But you got to adjust at some point too. And if you have to put it in Dak's hands, the one thing is Dak doesn't turn the ball over. So if you do have to put it in his hands. You may not necessarily have to worry about.
He had
that was one bad throw.
That was a corner instead of a linebacker.
He doesn't usually make those type of throws. But you're gonna have to worry about sacks. But he's gonna make a smart decision if you do put game in his hands. So I think they have some good things to come once.
And again, we're a young team this
Scott
year. I
Linehan
mean, it's still a bright future for the Cowboys. So.
Yeah, Scott Linehan is still the offensive coordinator next year. I don't want to be watching.
He is though, right? I thought
So far,
they keep it everybody.
They haven't fired him.
I'm serious. I'm not going to watch the games. I'm still going to be a Cowboys fan.
You got to watch the games. You got to comment.
Marcus,
Only the ones
Marcus.
I'm not watching.
Let him say it. Let him say
Promise.
it. Next year,
It's on the tape right now.
Totally, Marcus. By the time we go he'll be back on the bench. Don't worry about it.
When we go to the draft, he'll be there. He'll be there.
He can't. It's in his heart. He pumps Cowboy Kool-Aid. He can't not watch the Cowboys. I don't care what he say. That's like not breathing. It's just not possible.
Watch me.
Okay.
Let's move on to the next one. The next game we got is the LA Chargers against the New England Patriots. Marcus, who you got in this one?
Well, I picked the Patriots, but I wasn't expecting this. I wasn't expecting this. I mean, I think they were up by 35 and half. They were up 35-7 at halftime.
Yeah, that's what I thought too. I thought they did get to 35 by the half. Yeah.
But I mean, it was pretty much over at that point. I mean, I don't know what the Chargers were doing, or what they came in there thinking they were going to do. Their defense, I mean, as far as good as they played against the Ravens and managed to shut down the Ravens, best feature, which is running. They came into New England and just didn't change anything at all. I mean, they actually made Brady and the Patriots like the Brady and Patriots of old. Like, it's like, hey, this is the team that's gonna win a Super Bowl. And so, Brady was 34, 44, 343, and 1 touchdown. And Sony Michel, he had 129 yards rushing, averaging 5.4 yards a carry. I mean, Chargers defense didn't show up at all. So, when that happens in Gillette. And once again, Phillip Rivers has never, ever beaten Tom Brady.
And there's he's like 0-5 against them.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Dad, wow.
And you just felt like going this game. This could be the year. Like, this is the year you feel like, the Patriots are in trouble. They're easily beatable, but not on Sunday they weren't. So,
Harmon, who you had?
Yeah, I had the Patriots on this one. So I got up that morning and I said, let me go out here and shovel my snow real quick. Shovel my driveway. I was like, I missed a little bit of the game. I come in and the score is like 28-7. I was like, you know what? I'm not watching this. I turned it off. It was, like you said, like from what I did watch, it looked like the Patriots of old. I was like, what? And I told y'all all season long when I've been telling y'all I don't trust the Chargers. I don't trust the Chargers.
You were right.
It was, they had that game.
They got unplugged.
Yeah, it was crazy, man. But in their defense, not a lot of people go to New England and beat New England in the playoffs at home, or just at home, period. So, Chargers, y'all need to jump out to a fast start next season and try to get you a home field advantage.
Yeah, with KC in the mix.
Hey, I'm just saying that's going to be and Houston's in the South. So that's going to be a good division though. KC and maybe Denver might come back next year. Maybe.
We'll see.
Oakland.
So, like Marcus was saying, I mean, if you just look at the stat line of the quarterbacks, I mean, like Marcus said, Brady was 34 for 44 for 343 yards, but only 1 touchdown. Mm-hmm. Rivers was 25 for 51 for 331 yards, 3 touchdowns.
Those are garbage touchdowns at the end, though.
Exactly, because the game was out of hand, and all he could do was throw, which is why he threw 51 times that game. The Patriots took what the Chargers did against the Ravens and used it right against them and ran the ball down their throat. The reason Tom Brady only threw 1 touchdown is because the running backs got 3 of them on their own. I mean, it was a debacle, and they just normally, like when Herman was complaining about it, the Cowboys don't change. The Chargers didn't change. They just let them do it the whole half.
Didn't adjust at all.
They adjusted. And all you saw was Rivers the rest of the game complaining and being angry and frustrated because he knew at that point his season was already over at halftime. And there was nothing he was going to be able to do to come back and win that game.
Chargers had 19 yards rushing.
I believe. And like Herman said, I picked the Chargers. I meant to mention that in the beginning, but I did. I doubted the Patriots. Oh, they're old. This is their year. The Chargers are hot. I apologize, Patriot Nation. I should have known better. I will not doubt you guys again. And no, Tom, you don't suck, okay?
Yeah, this game, I chose the Chargers too. I keep picking the Patriots to lose, and they keep on winning. Look like I need to pick them to win at time. Maybe I hope that change around. I don't get where Brady was talking about. They were overlooked. Where he said
they've been overlooked all year. They've had all year.
We all kind of felt like they weren't the same team, especially like when they lost to Miami.
Yeah,
their road record is horrible.
I knew they'd be a little hard to play to beat in New England. I knew that.
Yeah,
but I didn't think they would wipe out the Chargers like that, honestly. And Rivers mad at the refs. He should have been mad at the offensive line. So enough on that one. Last game we got is the next game we got.
It's the last game.
It is the last one. Okay, yeah. Philly against the New Orleans Saints in New Orleans. Herman, who'd you have?
Well, I went with the Saints on this one. Got this one right. They held them off. I mean, I would say that the Saints, they squeaked by the Eagles because if Jeffries doesn't miss that pass, I'm feeling while I'm watching the game, I'm like, they're going to score. You could just kind of see it. Breeze was 28 for 38, 301 yards, 2 touchdowns, and an interception. Foles was 18 for 31, 201 yards, 1 touchdown, and 2 interceptions. The Eagles' magic ended. You need to play that celebration song again because I was happy. So, sorry, Eagles, you joined us on the sofa too. But I did get that pick right. I picked the Saints.
Marcus, who you had?
I picked the Saints, of course. But I tell you, when watching this game, when Eagles went 14-0, I wanted to cry. I was like, please, not again. Please, not again. And it looked really bad for the Saints. They got off to a really slow start, but they managed to work their way back. But they should be a little bit worried how that game started out. That was not good at all. But at the end, Philly scored those 14 points in the first quarter, and New Orleans defense shut them out the rest of the game.
Mm-hmm.
So if your defense step up like that and play like that, and you're going to win. Like I said, I'm just happy it happened that way. I was really in my feelings at the beginning of that game.
In this particular game, I took the Saints also. I do have to disagree with you a little bit, Marcus, when you said they need to worry. Man, when Philly jumped out from that 14-0 lead, did you see Breeze? Breeze was so calm and so collected on that sideline. They kept to their game plan, and man, they worked their way back in that game and took control of it. And then at the final drive they had, I was like, oh Lord, here we go. Here the Philly Magic coming again. And pick and for Chicago fans, this like bittersweet for them. They loved it because Jeffries left Chicago to go to Philly and predicted that they were going to win the championship last year. And he wasn't going to lose a game for him, but he didn't help the situation with that non-catch. So I took the Saints. I was victorious with this one. Brian, who'd you have?
Man, we all picked the Saints on this one. We were all on that bandwagon, but like Marcus said, man, you just had this sinking feeling in your stomach the whole game because the Saints started off slow, had to get some magic from Sean Payton deciding to fake the punt to get the first down, to get that momentum going. They finally got the lead, but you just didn't feel like it was enough. And Philly always had that chance. And like everybody was saying, once Foles got that ball, it's like, God damn it, he's going to move down this field, score this touchdown. I'm going to have to hear this underdog crap and all this stuff for another year. And to be honest with you, I think that the Eagles would have beat the Rams. I think if the Eagles had got there, I think the Eagles would have beat the Rams again. They'd have been in the Super Bowl again, and we may have had a Patriots-Eagles Super Bowl again with this dude again. But all that ended with the slip of the hands of the receiver who dropped that ball. So I thank you, and I appreciate that DB for catching that. And I went 2-2 this week, so I didn't do that well, but it is what it is.
Also the Saints, they got to prepare better for next week. They had 11 penalties compared to the only 4 by the Eagles.
Wow, and that was at home.
Yeah, at home. So, they say all the penalties are on coaches, so the coaches got to be tight this week and get things straight.
But it's like I know we can already talk about this game, but it's like really exciting to see 2 of the top offensive minds. I mean, really four of the top offensive minds in these games and how they're going to change. The only one that really has kind of like a more of a defensive thing is Belichick. He's good at stopping your offense and still having his offense do
But
well.
his defenses haven't been good in the last couple of years.
I don't know.
I mean,
man.
look how Philly tore him up in the Super Bowl last year.
But Philly's defense wasn't good either. Philly won that Super Bowl because of one play. They turned the ball over once, and that was all they really needed to win. But that was a back and forth game. Anybody could have won that Super Bowl.
All right, and now we move on to the division championships.
Oh, the conference championships.
I'm sorry, conference championships. What's the first game? The first game is the Rams and
Rams and Saints.
Oh, is it?
Yep, Rams at 3:05 on Fox.
Okay.
Troy Aikman.
So we're gonna start off with that particular game. Marcus, let me start off with you. Who you got in that one?
This one is kind of hard for me because the Saints, well, actually both the Saints and the Rams offense haven't been looking like they did beginning of the season. Both of them seem like they've dropped off a little bit. But like I was just saying about the Rams Cowboys game, it seemed like Dak Prescott was passing at will on their defense. So if Dak Prescott can do that, you can imagine what Drew Brees is going to do that. So I think I'm about to go with the Saints. I don't trust the Rams defense. I don't trust it at all. Marcus Peters, he plays a lot of guessing out there. And if you keep guessing wrong on the Brees-led offense, you're gonna get eaten up. You're gonna get torn up alive out there. And I just don't have any faith in it. After seeing what happened on Sunday against the Cowboys, I don't have any faith in the Rams defense. I'm picking the Saints.
So you got Saints and Super Bowl.
Yes.
Okay. They played early the season. Was it for 45-35?
Mm-hmm.
Where the
Saints
had to
Saints won that.
Right, but the Rams cut it from 10-something point lead, I believe they had on them. They had to come back. But an interesting stat in this one is the last 6 times that these teams have played, the home team has won the last 6 games. So with that, I'm going to have to agree with you. I'm going to have to take the Saints. I see the Saints. I just think Saints just has – it's too much to beat them down in New Orleans. It's too much. I think it's real hard to go into the stadium down there and beat them.
And they're gonna be hyped in that stadium.
They're gonna
and loud.
And loud. Yeah, definitely. Brian, who you got?
I'm agreeing with you guys. I'm also going to go with the Saints. The Saints are a 3.5-point dog in this game, and I think that's mainly just because of home field advantage. I don't think it's going to be a cakewalk. If the Rams upset the Saints, it would not surprise me. But I'm basically basing this on the quarterback and the coach. I'm putting my faith in Sean Payton and Drew Brees to make less mistakes and more big plays than Sean McVay and Jared Goff. So it's going to be a phenomenal game. I definitely see a lot of scoring. The Rams defense did very well against the Cowboys running game. I'm not sure if they're going to be able to do the same against the Saints running game. Alvin Kamara, and they have a 1-2 punch just like the Rams do. So I think they'll get a better running game. But when it all comes down to it, give me the Saints.
Okay. Herman, who you got?
I'm going with the Rams. I'm gonna tell you why. I think the Rams are gonna take a page from Dallas's playbook from when we beat the Saints. Drew Brees does not like pressure up the middle, and the Rams have 2 of the best tackles in the league, in Ndamukong Suh and Aaron Donald.
That's a good point.
They're gonna get that push up the middle. They're gonna get in Drew Brees' face. I think they can stop the run just like Dallas did. I think that they have a front 7 that is very comparable to Dallas's. If the Eagles can jump up on the Saints 14-0, you better believe that the Rams can do it. The Eagles don't have half the offense, in my opinion, that the Rams have. So I think the Rams play, even though they're going to be in the dome, that they're still on turf, and that's going to play to their advantage. I feel like the Saints struggled a little bit too much with the Eagles. And if the Eagles could stay in that game, I feel like the Rams can stay in this game with the Saints. So I'm gonna go with the Rams. I just had this feeling after watching the Rams defense. They're awake. They're alive. Sean McVay, he's a good offensive mind. I think that
he's a great offensive mind.
Yeah, he's a great offensive mind. I think that the Saints defense is going to struggle with some of the stuff that he's going to throw at them. You know, he's going to test the waters on different things. We'll be surprised if he comes out trying to run the ball right down their throat, just like they did the Cowboys. You know.
Well, what are they going to do against the Saints passing game though?
I think they'll be all right with the passing game because those two tackles, when they start to get, just like Dallas, when they start to get that penetration, Drew Brees can't see over that. He does not like to get rushed up the middle. That's the biggest thing. You can't have edge rushers against him. You got to have that inside presence. And that inside presence, the Rams are built for that with those tackles.
So you're saying that game on Sunday, Dak was so successful because he was rolling out?
Dak moves a little bit better, and he's taller. Yeah, he's taller than Drew Brees, too. So you got to take that into effect. You ever watch how Drew Brees, when he's in the pocket and he throws the ball, he looks like he's throwing up.
And he always, and like you said, he always try to get the middle. He's always in the middle of his guard.
When you rush that and when you cause pressure in there like that, he does not succeed. So I'm going with the Rams. It's going to be a close game.
The only thing I'm thinking about now that you mentioned it is I'm wondering what he's going to do with Alvin Kamara and them running him out to the flats where he doesn't have to throw over top.
I think their linebackers can cover that.
I'm trying to think of who the Rams linebackers are.
I don't know, but I know there was all
Fowler,
the stuff we
Fowler
ran
and another kid. They got speed on.
They got speed.
They can cover.
Yeah. You can go with me. You can change it. It's not too late.
No.
We're gonna let you take the long wolf on this.
All right, I'm more than happy to.
But once again, you got the two top teams in the NFC.
Number
one, number two. You can't ask for anything better than that.
Sure can.
So
except for the Cowboys being.
Yeah.
I can ask. What was y'all number 4? See,
that's all right. We'll be up there.
Oh, okay. Anyway,
we'll see what y'all.
We went in it.
That's right.
The next game we got is the New England Patriots and the Kansas City Chiefs. I'm gonna start this one off with one stat that the Pats have playing in Arrowhead. You know, overall they're 1-5 in Arrowhead, all time.
In playoffs?
All time. Period.
Against the Patriots.
They only played them 6 times.
Playing them in Kansas City.
Only 6 times?
All time.
And the whole time they've been in the league?
All time.
Okay.
You mean all time was since Brady been there?
Yeah, it's got to be something. It's got to probably be Brady.
It's Brady.
They've had to play more than 7 times.
This is their nighttime. This is their nighttime playing overall in the postseason.
Okay, in the postseason.
Okay. In the postseason.
Gotcha.
All right. This is the third time. I'm sorry. Belichick has beaten him when he was in Philadelphia. He's 0-4. Andy Reid is 0-4 against Bill Belichick since he's been in Philly. Since he's been in Kansas City, Andy Reid is 2-2. And you remember they played the Super Bowl, was that Super Bowl 38? That was
a long time. 30. I know it was like 2004, 2005.
They played New England. It was 24-21.
Oh, yeah, that's when Terrell Owens had broke his leg and all that. Yeah.
Okay.
And he was throwing up, Donovan Knapp throwing up in the huddle.
Despite those stats that I read, I find it hard to go against New England. I think New England's going to win this game.
Hey. You stop doing that?
Killing the audience.
I think New England's going to win this game. McCombs is kind of young. He's not that experienced, but he plays well. He showed his own, but I think New England's just going to have too much for Kansas City right now. Brian, what you got?
I'm with you, Mark, on this one. Again, the Patriots are who we always thought they were. I was blinded. I was bamboozled. But I reminded last weekend when they put the brakes, they beat the brakes off the Chargers. I've learned not to doubt them, especially Tom Brady when he has a chip. That fool still is upset about being picked 199 in the NFL draft. Over like how many years it's been? 12, 13 years. He still has
longer
a chip
than that, like 15.
Yeah, he still thinks that people don't respect them. The Chiefs are very good. Mahomes is very good, but I'm gonna put my and the part that really tripped me out too is just like they lost their top wide receiver. The Patriots lost their top wide receiver. Gronk really didn't do nothing in that game. They nickel and dimed them with the running backs and Edelman. That's basically how they beat them. And I think that's how they're going to beat the Chiefs. Give me the Patriots.
Irvin?
I'm going with the Chiefs. And it's not because I doubt the Patriots.
You should go ahead and howl now because we already know Marcus.
He's not picking the Patriots.
That's right. He is picking the Patriots.
I don't know, but he's
You
surprised.
might as well go ahead and howl. But go ahead.
I'll howl after he calls his pick. But I believe in the Chiefs. Their defense showed up. Yeah, the Patriots put a whooping on the Chargers, but again, I had no faith in the Chargers at all anyway. It was the Chargers. I'm going to say that. The Chiefs defense showed up. I think this weather is going to play right into the hands of the Chiefs. It's supposed to be really
cold.
bad.
But New England is used to that. That's not. I don't mean.
Yeah.
But it's different when you're at home. They're not at home.
So whose running game would you put your money on? Between the two.
I'm gonna put my running game on the Chiefs.
Really? Who were the Chiefs running back?
I don't even know who.
Thank you.
Whose name was
Sony
Williams.
Michel and
who?
Sony Michel. He's a rookie, but he's been running the ball. He ran for 3
He has
touchdowns
no
last week.
experience in the playoffs. Anyway,
And what's it do? Washington White.
James White.
James White is a monster.
somebody just quoted the Patriots road record this year. What was it?
1-5.
Their road record is 1-5
It's
this year.
awful. It's awful.
Yeah. So again, and where are they playing? On the road.
They are.
But no, this is more my belief in the Chiefs. After watching the Chiefs and their defense, I was really impressed with how their defense really stood up in that game.
Because it was like a lull in that game where the offense kind of stunk it up for a little bit.
And Mahomes, he's young, but you know what? That is playing into their success. This dude has ice running through. He don't care that it's the playoffs. He's not tight like some of these other quarterbacks are. Dude is playing this game like it's backyard football. He just won the MVP.
He's not even smarter. I mean, he's not smart.
Well, he's officially won MVP.
You know how big or how he should be.
He doesn't exactly, and he
He's
won
just out there
MVP.
playing, like you said.
He won MVP, and I think they said he did win MVP and Offensive Player of the Year.
Yep. So yeah, he did.
Yeah. So this dude is playing lights out, and even with the recklessness that he plays with, he's not making stupid mistakes with. And I just believe in the Chiefs because they're at home. Now, if they were on the road, I'd be picking the Patriots. But yeah, I'm picking the Chiefs on this one. So go ahead, Marcus. You can join me.
Go ahead, Marcus.
Well, you know, we talk about arguably the best quarterback ever in the National Football League, arguably one of the best coaches ever in the National Football League. You know, it's hard to bet against Tom Brady and Bill Belichick, especially after that whooping they put on the Chargers last week. They look like the Patriots of old. However, Herman cannot loan with it on this one because I'm picking the Chiefs.
Tom Brady is rolling over.
You going against Tom Brady?
Look, the Patriots' road record is 1-5 this year. They've never won a conference championship away from Gillette Stadium. Okay, they've never won one. And I just believe that right now the Chiefs are the best team in the NFL. I mean, but Mahomes, if you saw that game, I mean, he made some amazing passes. Like he made at least 2 more no-look passes.
They kept showing it. His feet weren't even planting, and he's throwing these balls. He's throwing them in the air.
Because he used to play baseball.
Yeah,
He threw one sidearm.
yeah.
That
To the tight end, to Kelsey.
I don't know.
And it like was going to go in the dirt.
Wait, I don't know how that ball got to him, but he put it right in the right spot.
Yep.
Sidearm. The boy's bad. And you guys remember them. They played early this season. He started out slow, but once he got himself together, he was on a roll.
Almost brought him back and almost won it.
Man, the boy's the truth. I give you that.
They I mean, besides the quarterback position, they just don't match up with the Chiefs at all on offense. I mean, we got Kelsey, we got Tyreek Hill, we got whatever that new running back's name is. I mean,
Sony Michel.
So no.
For Kansas City?
Yeah, for Kansas City.
Damian Williams.
Yeah. I mean, they just don't match up. And if their defense, if KC's defense played like it did last week, I just can't see them overcoming the Chiefs. I mean, this may bite me in my ass. I may come to regret making this pick, but I still think the Patriots are vulnerable this year. I think they're very vulnerable. I think there's any team that could do it. It could be the Chiefs.
Marcus, I'm sorry, I don't mean to interrupt. I just got a text from Tom Brady. He basically said that since you did not pick him, do not pick them to win the Super Bowl next week.
I'm just saying, if this is I still think they're vulnerable. This is the most vulnerable they've been in a long time. I think it could be done. You know, I think it'll be a great game. I don't think it'll be a blowout. And I just don't. Bill Belichick's defenses have not been the same in recent years. There's no way Philly should came in there and tore him up like that in the Super Bowl. They've let things go. I just don't have that much faith in Belichick's defense anymore. I don't know what happened. You know, I think he still has a great mind, but I think Casey's offense is going to be too much for him. I don't think they match up well at all. And if you think New Orleans is going to be hype, man,
it's going to be
KC is going to be hype.
It's going to be nuts there.
I mean, I anticipate a couple of delayed games against the Patriots in that game.
I think all the fans are going to be too cold.
Read the article on that.
I don't think they have a problem with that one. That's interesting, Marky.
I'm very shocked.
Marcus was going to pick the Chiefs. I knew.
How did you know I was going to pick the Chiefs?
I just had a feeling because the Chiefs they look too good. Like you said, they don't. The Patriots just don't match up against them. And
you are making. I mean, because they got 10. Who's 10? The little wide receiver.
Terry
Hill. And then the tight end. I mean, who do you take away?
Exactly. Belichick's good for taking away one.
Oh, remember? We didn't talk about this. They just got a wide receiver back who played last year.
Sammy Watkins.
Sammy Watkins. Oh, okay.
Contributed a little bit.
Yeah, he did contribute something. A little bit.
Yeah. You still got him to worry about.
Yeah, you still got to worry about. You can't Belichick can't take away three things. You can't what do they do best? What they do best is it's Mahomes.
You know what I see this as, like back when the Colts was so hot and just lightened up everything, and then all of a sudden they go and play the Patriots, and it all just shuts down. The Patriots just throwing pick after pick. But Peyton was a statue, so Mahomes is a different breed.
This is Mahomes. No, this is where he plays.
And to be honest with you, if I pick both these games wrong, I don't really care. These games are really too difficult to pick. I mean, it's just crazy. And then, you can just see, we could talk about this all day and come up with reasons why one team could do better than the other. Truly, this is just a gut reaction and a hope and a wish that we're right, but there's no telling.
And I think this game is going to be like a passing of the torch, the new era of the next great quarterback.
So I got a Saints Pats Super Bowl. Who do you got, Mark?
Same thing, Saints Pats.
Okay, and then Herman got Chiefs.
I got Chiefs Rams.
Chiefs Rams.
I got Chiefs Saints.
Herman's would be really interesting. The two young teams against each other. The Chiefs and you said the Chiefs and the Rams. Chiefs and the Rams.
Yeah, that'd be a redo. One of the best games this year.
That would be a crusher if he lost to the Super Bowl to McVay.
Who?
Andy Reid lost to the Super Bowl. They lost to a young kid like that.
Hey, it happens.
That would be crushing.
All right, so that ends our week picks for this week. Couple of hot topics we can get in. Since we are talking about the New England thing, do y'all think this will be? They say if New England do go to the Super Bowl, question, and they win the Super Bowl, you think this would be the farewell of Belichick and Brady?
Absolutely not.
No, I don't think so.
You don't?
I don't think either one of them. We already know Brady ain't ready to leave yet, and
never even hinted at it.
Huh?
You don't think Belichick?
I said Belichick's never even hinted at one.
Only reason why I would bring that up is, you remember Belichick did the same thing when he was with New England as an assistant. He had gotten a job with the Jets, but he left the Jets at the altar. Josh McDaniels did the same thing this year, where he left the altar, left coach standing still. I think everything's set up for.
I do think that
Josh McDaniels
has
take over the team,
but it's not happening next year.
It's not happening next year.
I said if they win the Super Bowl.
Even if they win the Super Bowl, it's not going to happen next year.
Marcus, you say the same thing? No.
No, I don't think Belichick's ready to go anywhere.
The only way I can see Tom retiring is if it's like a crushing loss, where they're like, no, not in the game, and they just.
I think his ego wouldn't let him retire like that.
I guess I'm along with this.
I mean, I believe Belichick wants to outlast Brady and prove he can do it without Brady.
I think you're right about that. Belichick has not hinted.
And see that, and that's just it. That's just it. He's not gonna give you. You're not gonna show your hand. He's not gonna show his hand. That's just it. I think if he wins a championship this year, I think this will be the last thing you see of Belichick. I really do.
No, I think we all agree. If they go to Super Bowl, that'll be the last game for Gronk as a Patriot at least.
Yeah. I think this is Gronk's last season with the Patriots anyway.
I don't feel like it'll be the last game for Brady either. I don't, but I got a feeling it'll be the last thing for Belichick if they win a championship. So
then you think Josh McDaniels would take over?
I think Josh McDaniels. Why else would he leave a head coaching job that's set for him to stay there? Why? Why would he leave it?
I mean, what you said does make sense, but I mean, and maybe you're right. Belichick ain't giving no hints, but Belichick seems content.
Last season.
Last season was the season
where he left him.
And I think part of it is why he didn't go to the Colts because I think that that Luck was still a question.
The uncertainty with Luck.
I think Luck was still a big question.
No, what they said because he was promised New England job at some point.
That's why I think he stayed.
I agree with that.
He had the coach job. He definitely did, but I think he stayed because he knew that the torch was getting past him.
Just a side note, they fired the one assistant that he had hired before he decided not to go there.
He got 1 year and then they fired him.
That's crazy. Another hot topic we got. Nick Foles. Who do you see him landing with next season?
Well, I'm gonna tell you a possibility that nobody's thought about, and this is something I've read today that nobody really might not know. Cam Newton's shoulder, he might be facing the same thing that Andrew Luck went through. Cam Newton might have to sit out next year.
Really?
Yeah. So if that's the case, don't be surprised to see if the Panthers don't try to go after Foles. They said that they have to look at his shoulder and see if he has to have surgery, and it's a possibility he might have to sit out next year.
And it's going to take a whole year for him to
that might be the best thing for him to do, just like Luck.
So regarding the Nick Foles situation, I got 4 words for you: Matt Flynn, Matt Straub.
Matt Straub.
Matt Shaw. I mean, come on. I mean,
you can already say that he's been down that road when he went to the Rams. He did a terrible job.
But there's a reason why he's been a backup quarterback most of his career. They're going to pay that dude lots of money. He's going to go somewhere, and he's going to he's going to suck it up.
I think it depends on where he goes. Like you kind of say, like if he did go to the Panthers, I don't know how well he would do. I think if there was a coordinator, one of his old coordinators. No, but there's one of his old coordinators.
Just signed with the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Jaguars. Oh, yeah. That would be a good place for him to go. He'd have the familiarity with the offense. I think he needs that type of offense in that running game to be successful. But the Panthers, the Redskins,
Why would he go to the Redskins?
Because y'all need a quarterback.
It has to be.
That is true.
Somewhere where he's not the.
But you know what? Marcus, I just take that back because y'all can't afford it.
I'm gonna throw another wild card in there too. Oakland.
What? Yeah, I can see that. But no, didn't
John Gruden's got
Peterman? What's his name?
Yeah, he got Peterman.
Yeah, but
Peterman's about to rewrite his story.
But I don't think the Carr and Gruden marriage is that great.
Maybe, okay, so is Carr out then?
No, he's not out yet. But
I definitely see something happening during the draft. I could absolutely see that.
I can see that. So the possibility could be the Jacksonville Jaguars. Miami Dolphins may throw their hat
done with Tannehill.
Yeah. And the dark horse I have is the Oakland Raiders. Those are 3 teams. And then, of course, I don't know if they can afford to do it. I don't know how to do it with the Washington Redskins.
Yeah, I don't think they can.
I don't think they can afford to do it.
Well, the Redskins are going to have to roll with Coach.
They probably can if
they got to draft somebody.
If Smith can't come back, his guaranteed money is off of injury.
That's what I was going to say.
So I think if he can't come back and his guaranteed money is off of injury, I think if he can't come back, I think that clears their cap.
They were talking about it.
It's a clause of insurance.
It still hurts them regardless. This week,
for
the next 2 years, it hurts them.
What I read was his insurance, how they insured him. They didn't take the whole. They only paid like a 35% instead of an 80%. So if he decides to retire or it's because of injury, he doesn't have to pay him that whole full amount of money. So it really depends on how this whole injury turns out for him.
But I think that dollar amount still hits them against the cap. I don't know if they have to,
but not as much.
But from what they were saying, I mean, they were pretty much going to be cap struck because of that situation. That's
another possibility.
Yeah, y'all are in quarterback hell right now because even if he comes back, he's
got to draft somebody.
He's not what y'all need.
You got to
find right. You're right, Mark. You probably need to draft. That's probably the best way to get out of it.
Yeah. But dang,
what about the Giants?
They're sticking with Eli.
Nick Foles.
But they got to draft somebody too. Oh, you talking about Nick Foles?
Nick Foles couldn't go to the Giants.
I can't see it.
I don't see him fitting that offense right now. And then the question is, we don't know what is Beckham going to be there. We don't know that either.
No, yes, he's going to be there. The GM has already committed to Beckham and not to Eli. He came out and said, we didn't sign Beckham to trade him. And then they asked him about Eli, and he said, we got to evaluate everything.
But it's definitely true. I mean, if this is Eli's, this has got to be his swan song mission.
It has to be this year.
I can't see him playing another 2.
I mean, he should probably want out. I don't know why Jacksonville doesn't make a move for a cheap move to get him.
Yeah, I agree.
I feel like you plug in Eli in Jacksonville.
He's much better than Bortles.
Not to mention that, and then that to me, their division isn't as physical as the NFC East is. True. And I mean, that's a 100% upgrade at the quarterback position, and you put yourself right back as a contender because nothing else on your team really changed. The big letdown on your team was
injuries. You know what they were talking about Fournette. There was some news about Fournette.
They did pull back his guaranteed money. There's a little bit at odds with him on that, but Tom Coughlin's going to run the football. They're going to run the football. So,
I think Eli should just retire. He got as many rings as Peyton. You know, he should just retire.
His ego, he has to bounce back
because he's not going to win another one.
No, he might not, but he wants to at least maybe show he can be a playoff quarterback.
Hey, he might come play for y'all. Come play for y'all. Right?
Maybe he's trying to do like his brother and just get on a team with a really good defense. Right?
It is right.
Well, actually, that last Super Bowl, Peyton was pretty good most of the year. It was in the end he wasn't doing nothing.
That's when it counted the playoffs and stuff. Peyton was garbage.
Yeah, he was definitely garbage player, but he was good most of the year until them.
All right, last thing we're gonna talk about is wide receiver diva drama, Antonio Brown.
He took something about the Steelers off his Twitter account or something.
Twitter account says Steelers wide receiver. He took that off.
He took that off.
Yeah, I mean, he's gone.
How you feel about that, Mark? You want to cry about it?
I'm bittersweet about it. To be honest, I like Antonio. He's an excellent. He's a game changer. He's a talented wide receiver. He just needs to shut his mouth. He just needs to be quiet. But when anytime the team president comes out and says he really don't look to see him on the team next year, I don't think he's going to be there. He won't. I don't think he'll be there.
And it's like he just cannot not tweet about every little thing. I mean, him having this tweet war with the Broncos wide receiver,
Emmanuel Sanders.
He was on NFL, and and they asked him in an interview and asked him some questions about it. He gave his honest opinion, and of course, Antonio couldn't just let it rest. He had to tweet to him about it. Now they're going back and forth.
It's taking two persons.
Stop. And I will tell you this though, I do think if Antonio goes to another team, I don't think he's going to be a problem.
No, that change of scenery is going to be is what some of these players just need. They just need that change of scenery because, I mean, there's been things here and there off and on with him, but I would say for the most part of his career in Pittsburgh, he was a team. You know.
I just think that the biggest problem over there was there was a rift between him and the quarterback.
Right, and ownership.
And I can't really disagree with Antonio with that. With the Ben coming out, it's very rare your quarterback comes out and blasts the wide receiver in public. You blast him behind the doors. You take the blunt of it from the news on you. Hey, I didn't throw that ball right or whatever. And, I should have made more plays. So I do think that really caused a big rift between them. And then I think Tomlin had to decide with the quarterback. I don't think he could side with Antonio. So he had to keep his quarterback as happy. So I think that made Antonio even more antagonistic. So that's why I think the relationship there kind of severed. It's really sad. And like Mark said, it is kind of bittersweet because, they did make beautiful music together. And whenever he was on the field with Ben, you never knew they were never out of the game. Let's put it that way.
And he still has not responded, and none of his teammates or Pittsburgh, the organization, he hasn't talked to him at all yet.
Yeah.
So it's crazy. And the story that I heard, I don't know how truth it is that they were in practice and Ben called them out by running a particular route in practice, and it pretty much blew up from there. So what can I say?
Well, I was watching NFL Network, and Deion Sanders thinks the Cowboys should grab him.
Yeah, he said that.
I mean, we can't afford it.
First of all, we don't. I mean, you could always use them, but that's the first thing. We can't afford them. But secondly, I think we have two young development. I mean, you got Cooper and Gallup.
Well, we would drop Beasley. We would get rid of Beasley.
That's what Sanders was saying. He would give up somebody to get.
He would be perfect.
We don't even have. First of all, we don't have a first round.
We don't.
So,
but everybody's saying they don't think that the Steelers are going to get a first round.
Maybe they won't.
What are they going to get?
Second round.
Probably a second
No,
round.
He certainly could demand a first round.
But I mean, you're kind of in a rock and a hard place. Everybody already knows your business, so they really don't have to go out there and try to sign him.
Yeah. It's just like Bell. It's gonna be interesting to see wherever he lands because
Bell's going to the Jets.
I feel like he's gonna be asking way
Bell
too much
and
money.
Bell, both of them are going to be on the Jets next year.
Wow.
Like I predicted this year.
San Francisco's another spot.
That's where he wants to go.
Yeah.
He wants to go to San Francisco, so that's probably gonna be the last place they send him. Just out of spite.
Yeah, probably send him to Cleveland.
Well, Cleveland's good.
That should be good for Cleveland.
I would not want to see
That's
Antonio.
where I would send I would send him to Buffalo.
But I mean, he worked with
Who's that quarterback in Buffalo now?
Allen.
Yeah.
Josh
Oh
Allen.
yeah, okay.
he's a running fool. Is what he is.
I don't think Antonio would go to Buffalo.
I mean, he don't really
He don't
have a
have a
choice in
choice.
this one.
He would have a choice.
He's
He's out of contract.
not like a free agent.
Yeah, how many years he got on his contract?
He just signed that thing. What?
Yeah,
A year ago.
Yeah.
So
It was
ain't
a
no
year ago.
renegotiations or nothing like that.
He's gonna have to go. Yeah, I would send him somewhere. Yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah,
I would send him somewhere he wouldn't want to be.
Buffalo or Miami is nice down there, even though they suck. The weather's too nice.
Either New York Jets or Buffalo.
Do you think the Patriots might make a play for him?
No,
Why wouldn't they?
They had Josh Gordon.
but okay, Josh Gordon.
The only time they really signed a receiver to big money was Moss. Everybody else, they're kind of like receivers that are like.
I mean, you think he can handle being in Belichick's system?
Yes, he would lie right there like everybody else.
And I guarantee you, Brady would never throw him under the bus like that in public.
No, and you get to play with one of the best quarterbacks in the league, if not the right now.
I don't think Belichick was taking him. After what he's done in Pittsburgh,
He's taking all the worst runner. He took Corey Dillon when he was in all that trouble.
He took some trouble players.
He took Randy Moss when he was in trouble.
Yeah.
He took Chad Johnson when he was.
I don't know, but Antonio, he's been pretty disrespectful to the Steelers.
The safety that was from the Chargers that's on NFL.
Rodney Harrison. Rodney Harrison got 5 for all dirty hits.
Yeah.
He doesn't have a super history of this right now, Marcus. Like the stuff he's doing right now, he doesn't have a complete history of this. When things were good, he was fine. He will buy right into Belichick's system.
He absolutely would.
Perfect.
But that'd be the worst day for Pittsburgh. Then you
absolutely would.
you would not.
I bet you that would be like the first. Well, not the first game of the week, but that would be like one of the primetime games coming up.
Hey, look, I already hate New England. Oh my God, that would drive my hate even worse.
Yo, if he did that, I would go buy his jersey.
It's a possibility, though.
You walking home.
Yeah, Pittsburgh would be out of their mind to trade him. I mean, New England, we had to get a whole lot of draft picks or something. They'd be out of their mind to trade him to.
You'd be surprised.
It would be worth it, dude.
Be worth it.
Yeah.
For his talent right now.
That would be next year. You go in and draft Brady because that's gonna be like one of them another 50 touchdown years.
It'd be worth it.
And remember, the Patriots know how to find these players from lower picks anyway.
Yep.
You know, they always trading out of the first round and
Yep.
stuff like that. So,
Whew, that's scary.
So how do y'all feel real quick about the Raiders now and their situation with their picks now? So, I mean,
it's not looking that great. I mean, Dallas's is like the 27th, I think. A lot of their picks that they got off their trades are low first round.
Yeah.
What they got 4 in the first round.
Yeah.
But they're the bottom low, and then they got 4th and something else, right?
I forget. I know Dallas, the one they got from Dallas is 27.
And which means that the Chicago's probably like it would 25, probably the highest.
It is. But they are first round picks though. So if you have a good GM who knows what he's doing, they're gonna get talent. You know, you can get 4 starters. And not every team can say they go into a draft and get 4 starters. You should get 4
you think about too, if somebody wants a player that's rated a little bit higher, they can bottle up those picks together and trade with somebody.
That's true.
They can.
That's true.
It's
a possibility.
I think, in my opinion, they probably be better off staying with what they have and going and getting 4 starters, 4 talented. Unless
they need help everywhere.
I don't think there's that super player out there this year.
They need help everywhere.
The only team is like I see is like Marcus. What's that guy's name that came from Texas?
Cliff Kingsbury.
And he wants that new. What's that quarterback name?
Tyler Murray.
Tyler Murray.
At the 4th pick, he'll be there.
You think?
I think he'll be there.
I think he might be. But they said although he signed his letter of intent to join the NFL or whatever. It's basically just saying that he can no longer play college football.
Right.
He still can play baseball and stuff.
Yeah. So if he doesn't get drafted where he wants, he can
still go back and play baseball.
I mean, I don't.
But they were talking about this on the radio just real
small.
quick though. Like in baseball, like he wouldn't like just go to like the major league.
No,
he would be playing like
system.
like driving and it's not like it's always cracked up and being. It may be 2 or 3 or 4 years before you actually get into the big league.
Yeah.
Whereas like if he drafted in the NFL, he starts. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
if I'm the owner of the Cardinals, though, I'm not allowed. I'm not drafting that guy. They just drafted.
but you just went with
Josh
your head
Rosen.
coach.
They just
You just signed this guy, and
I want
he
you
wants
to.
him.
But was that your pitch when you applied as the head coach? Was that your pitch to me that I'm going to get this kid?
Well, he didn't know Tyler Murray hadn't.
That's my point. So if I'm the owner and your pitch to me was what you're going to do with Josh Rosen, you're going to do it with Josh Rosen. This kid doesn't have the. I know that there's a special.
I'm with you. I would not want him. I mean, he's 5'10".
Yeah, he doesn't.
He's like
have
90 pounds.
Yeah, he doesn't.
He got to bulk up at least another 20 pounds,
and
you can't get any taller.
Right.
So he would be He would be like Doug Flutie, basically.
Almost, yeah.
It's like Doug Flutie. And I mean, all Doug was entertaining and fun. He was never going to win the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
All right. Good show, Marcus. Take us out of here.
Sure. Before we, I just want to encourage everyone to run over to sportsintel.net for.
What was up with that? Sure. I mean, can we get a little enthusiasm? I mean,
hey man, it's late. Okay, I'm tired.
My bad.
I want to encourage everyone to run over to sportsintel.net for getting commentary and opinions on everything sports related. Also, want to encourage you to like, share, and subscribe. Like the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel, hit that little bell icon so you get notified whenever we go live. And also check us out on Twitter. What's the Twitter handle, Brian?
What's our Twitter handle? Say, I delayed game 3.
I'll delay game 3.
This is our little mascot, Mark's son, Jordan.
So at the Live Grade 3 on Twitter. We'll catch you next week the same time. Same bat time, same bat channel. Peace, we out.
Peace.
Peace.